Hello, how are you? I hope you're well and blessed. This is Mule. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for if you've been with us, and welcome if you've never listened, if you've never been to this channel before. I hope you will subscribe so that more and more people will see and listen. Um, and also my videos are more of audio right now for this time. So I hope there will be good listening tools for you as you go about your daily work. But welcome. So I'm going to do this message that God gave me on 31st of December of 2022, and it's called the Coming Exodus, the second Exodus. And before he started speaking to us, and I mean, I have a ministry partner. I have a brother who's younger than me, and God has put us together as ministry partners, and also another friend of mine. So sometimes we have phone call and phone calls, and God starts speaking to all three of us. And sometimes it's just two of us, so it doesn't matter how many, but sometimes we are more than two, because God had revealed to us that He's bringing back the sending people two by two in ministry. So that's why the remnants, you have to get married. Remnants will have to get married, those who are single. And even those marriages um, where he's separating people, they will be given new spouses. Uh, they are soulmates. Maybe he's separating people who are not soulmates. That's one reason why he's separating them. You got married to the wrong person you're not supposed to have gotten married to. But in this revival, in this move of God, and these beginnings of end times, you cannot afford to be married to the wrong person. So God himself is the one who's separating people, and he's going to give you your right soulmate. Because one reason is you have to have a partner who is compatible spiritually to you. Because the coming release of powers on the remnants, if you're not married, if you're standing next to somebody who is not compatible to your, or rather living with somebody who is not compatible to the powers of God in your life, it's very easy to kill them without touching them. The powers that we will be endowed with as remnants is powers that are, as God revealed to us some time ago, almost more than 100 times what was released on Pentecost. Okay, so you have to understand that he's been separating a lot of people, and so that he can bring them to their to connect them to their future spouses, the soulmate that needs to be in their lives. That's why so many marriages are breaking, and especially Christians, those who are faithful to God, or who are remnants. Um, their marriages, some people marriages are breaking, and I'm not saying all marriages are breaking, because there are people who got married to their soulmates, and they will be working together. They will be married partners in the coming move of God. But even those ones will have to renew their vows again. Okay, so that's just an introduction. So welcome. So I began around 10 o'clock in the night. I began to have a vision, and I saw a group of black people, African black people, or just black people. I don't know where they were, whether they were in America or wherever, but I started hearing chanting, hearing them chanting, Yahweh is God, Yahweh is God. Over and over, it was a big group. And they were of both genders and all ages. And they kept on shouting that. It was like a celebration. Yahweh is God. And this vision kind of looked like it was a past incident or time that are past. It didn't look like a future event or present. It looked like these people looked like an older time people. And so I turned to my brother who was with me, who's my prayer partner, and I mean my ministry partner, and I asked him, do you recall? I recall that we have been explained to before by the church, or maybe it's just people explaining about how Israel was, because I know it's not in the Bible. But Israel used to fear speaking the name of Yahweh. They could not even pronounce it. And even when they write it, um, apparently in the Bible or when it's written, it doesn't have even the vowels, the A and the E, and they could not pronounce it. So I kept wondering, and I asked him, um, when would this vision have been? Since these people were speaking that name without fear, and yet we are told that in the church we are told that these people used to fear speaking even the name of Yahweh. But now, even him, he didn't understand, even as I described the vision to him. But we waited on God. But now when he started speaking, he started speaking other things about his people. So after a short while, the Lord started speaking. Um, and before that, we were alerted to call our other prayer partner, our other ministry member, on the phone to tell her, to alert her to call so that God can speak. But she had taken quite a while. So when the Lord started speaking, we went on ahead without her, knowing that she'll call and she'll participate because she was not with us. So the Lord God Almighty says, I'm bringing my people back home. I'm bringing them back home, and Kenya will find itself with an immediate population increase of 20, 50 or more times. It will be an overnight increase. My people are coming home, back home. I'm driving them away from where they have settled in every continent and island. Do you know that every one of my people is coming with plunder from the lands I'm driving them from? Some will know, and others will not know that they have come with plunder. It doesn't matter how long they have been away or if they have never been to Kenya or Africa. If it's their ancestors who were taken away as slaves or for whatever reason or means they find themselves abroad, some of them will know and some of them will not know. And so let me jot something here. For those who have never known, haven't gotten this revelation before, this is something that God has told us some time ago, and I'm glad that I keep hearing people in the internet speak more and more about it. That Israel is not the white people up there in Israel right now. Those are fake Jews, rather fake Israel, because Israelites are not Jews. That name was coined by those people up there. So God has confirmed to us that Israel is a black man, and not just black, because it depends on how they intermarried from wherever they went into exile or they were scattered by God many years ago. So there are some people who will not look black, who will look half Caucasian and black, and some will be looking like other, maybe Asian mixed with black, or others. And depending on your, it will all depend actually on your blood, the Israelite blood flowing through your blood, your veins. So God knows who everyone is, and He knows who have to be driven away from the lands they went, or their ancestors went. So that was just a small explanation of why they are coming to Kenya and Africa, because they're black people. And he says a big population of his people, Israel, is in America because of the slavery that took them there. They took their ancestors there. And even some in Europe, the ones who are taken there as slaves and all over the world, but mainly America. He said there are very many of his people there. So I continue. So many of them have been away for long, but I'm bringing them back home. As they come into the country, I will lead and cause them to empty their plunder into the coffers of the Lord's government of Kenya. Do you understand that the wealth of the government and Kenya will increase overnight? This country will find itself with a sudden, unbelievable surge of unexplained wealth. The economy of this country will suddenly explode with even millions and billions of increase overnight. Do you know of the number of them that will be given citizenship and how controversial it will be? I will direct them to be given legal papers of citizenship upon their arrival, and it will cause people to question what is happening, who are they, and why are they becoming citizens without background checks and formal law being followed. Once leaders and people begin seeing or knowing of the transfer of the wealth to the government coffers, all these questions and protests will reduce and cease. The benefits of their presence will be seen and felt, and these issues will cease to be important. A lot of Kenyans at some point will welcome these strangers and even host them in their homes. So, for those who want to ask me when this will happen, I have no idea. I do not know when it will happen. All I know is um, after the revival. So once the revival happens, anytime after the revival, maybe a few months or even immediately during the revival, a lot of things will happen because that revival is what will drive people in droves back to the motherland. So I have no time frame of when this will happen. So please do not ask me. So I continue. The Lord God continues. This will be a voluntary desire. Let me repeat the sentence before that I started. A lot of Kenyans at some point will welcome these strangers and even host them in their homes. This will be a voluntary desire, and I will release my love and favor on these hosting families. Once their neighbors witness the beautiful impact hosting is being experienced in these homes, many of them will desire to host as well, to open up their homes for this experience. It will reach a time that people will even line up at the airport or port of entry to receive or be allocated a family or individuals into their homes. It will not only be in the cities but all over Kenya, urban and rural areas. Counties will even reach a point of being allocated a certain amount of strangers for their people to host, because there have been there will be requests from all over Kenya. People will want to experience that which others are testifying of, as I cause love to flow throughout the land and homes. The benefits will not be financial, but at some point the government will decide to give assistance. In the beginning, the benefits will be my love and favor being experienced, because the strangers will have emptied, because strangers will have emptied their coffers and plunders and wealth, um, they came with. These hostings will be a temporary basis because I will permanently settle my people in this land and will never be uprooted again. So in the book of Isaiah, I can't remember which chapter, it talks about when God settles, brings his people back, where he settles them, there'll never be any upheaval, there'll never be any upheaval for them anymore, that they will be settled where God wants them to be settled permanently, that they will have no trouble, no uprooting again, that it will be now a permanent place. So I continue. Some of my people will know themselves who they are before, but others will learn of it when they arrive. Yet others will feel a push before they get out and migrate. It will be, that's what people will be saying. Destination Africa, destination Kenya. Destination Africa, destination Kenya. And he kept repeating that over and over. After a while, he continues, the airline companies will be busy because there will be an overbooking of one-way tickets. But they'll not have an issue or care because they'll gain all this, because they'll gain in all this. Some companies will even be forced to rent planes from other companies to meet this demand. So at this point, I was just jotting down my thoughts, and I said, I think this migration will be both to Africa and out of Africa at some point, because God has told us that he will be driving people from where they are if they are not supposed to, if that's not, if they are not the indigenous people there. So even in Africa, there will be a migration of people back to their lands. If for example, we have in Kenya, we have many Nigerians, we have many Indians, we have many Europeans here, or even our colonial masters are still, some of them, their ancestors, I mean, their descendants are still here. So he'll be shifting people back to their original homes, to their indigenous homes, even if they didn't know, even if they have never been to their homes. If they are Europeans and they have lived or they were born even in Africa, some of them will be shifted back. I think, I don't know how God will operate it, whether because some remnants will stay, will be brought. It's like actually a migration to Africa for remnants. So I think believers, if you're a remnant and a believer, we'll also see some Wazungus or white people. Wazungu is white people in English. They will be probably staying put. I don't know. That one I've wondered about. But a lot of people will be migrated back to their lands. So we'll see a lot of upheavals, a lot of movements in and out of Africa. People back to Europe, people back to the Americas, people back to other African countries from other African countries. So that's the thought I jotted here. And that I said that airlines will probably be full both ways because they are taking people out of Africa at some point, and while others are coming back. And I also said that they'll probably take advantage and overcharge some passengers, especially if they realize that it's one way, that coming out they are not getting out with anybody. So probably they'll overcharge some passengers, and so that they can make money for return trips. So those were just my thoughts. And then I continue. This will be a global phenomenon, and the international media will even start following these stories and activities so as to find out why and where everyone is going. They will follow some people on their journeys as the whole world looks. Some people will experience a sudden urge to move, not knowing what is pushing them out, and others will have an idea. Many will not even know that wealth has been transferred to them before they reach here, but others will know before they start their journeys. So, this wealth transfer, God has revealed to us, no man is doing it. He'll use people. He has people set up in places, and even angels will be able to do a lot of these things. But accounts are being set up in people's names, and you didn't even know you had an account, but it will happen. You will get, you'll be given these accounts and all that when you come. But this remnants who will be coming back to Africa, those who don't know that they had anything that was transferred in their names, so they'll know when they reach here, but they won't even enjoy it because they'll empty, as I'll continue reading, they'll empty these coffers willingly. Somehow the Spirit of God will lead them to give the wealth and everything that they are coming with and empty them to the government, because God has told us before that He has to bring everybody down to zero before He can start you off in this move of God. He has to empty you of everything, and wealth is one of those things. Family is one of those things, because remnants is Joseph's story. The remnants are Joseph's generation. The same way Joseph was cut off completely from everything he knew, everything he depended on, family, wealth, his family's wealth, his family, friends, neighborhood, home. He was cut off immediately when his brothers wanted to kill him and they sold him off. That's what will happen to a lot of remnants. So that's what God says. He will cut you off and from so much wealth, those who have a lot of wealth, and even those who don't have anything, they'll still be cut off from everything that you have remaining. So I continue. The economy of Kenya will increase even 1,000,000,000 times, tripling and even to quadruple. My people will pour this wealth voluntarily, because they will desire to start off without and at peace, than full of this wealth and having no peace. Do you know that the plunder is not just money, wealth, or finances, but that I will plunder even manpower and human resources? Do you understand that some countries will collapse when their manpower migrates? Do you also understand that there are some jobs that this manpower does that will leave a vacancy, a serious grassroots of manual jobs crisis? So I began to I began to be reminded of some places in the Bible. God had talked about some things. So when he was talking about the plunder that will be brought to Kenya, I was reminded that the Israelites were asked to ask their neighbors of anything that they can give them, jewelry and all that stuff, before they left Egypt. And they were given so much that the Bible says they plundered Egypt by what their neighbors gave them, the wealth that they were given. That even this gold and all that they were given is what was used to make that golden calf in the desert when they were there. So that was a lot of gold. So you can imagine how much they plundered the Egyptians. And also another portion of the book of Exodus talks about, I think, Exodus chapter 14, from verse 23 onwards, a few verses, it talks about Egypt was plundered of its best warriors unto death when they followed Israel and stepped into the sea. Um, that is also plunder unto destruction. That's what has been revealed. Some countries will probably even send their armies to stop these migrants, but will find themselves perishing through the hand of God and His angels. Just as Egypt was left poor economically and military wise and all other ways, um, these countries might find themselves plundered the same way, because Egypt was left with a very big reduction of population when Israel left, and also their army and their leaders died out in the desert, and also that means manpower. They lost manpower, they lost economical wealth, and other ways. So also I was was brought also to my mind was Exodus 36, verse 5 to 7, and when God was talking about plunder, um, and Israels were asked to volunteer to bring offerings to the buildings of the Lord's tabernacle. They brought until they had to be told to stop because it was more than enough. And now God is telling, that moment He was telling me, and He was letting me know that no one will say stop, that it's too much. That when this group of Israel, when they are brought back, everyone will give until there's no more to give. That's what He was making me understand. Everyone will give until there's no more they have to give. So nobody will stop them, tell them to stop, that it's too much. No, they have to empty everything they came with. So I continue. The Lord God continues. So He says, you have to stop asking some questions, because there are some things I won't respond to now, or you don't need to know now. Be at peace about it. Some things you will know in the future. I want you peaceful, rested, and expectant. So at this point, our third ministry partner called, and now she was included in this revelation from God, as God continued. Prepare, 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 prepare. Things are going to go so very fast. I need you to be of sound mind. All of you, I need you to be of sound mind. I will give you sound mind. I will keep you in perfect peace. Things will go so fast. There will be no time to waste. Things are going to go so fast. There will be no time to waste. And he kept repeating that. Things will go so fast. I have to keep you in perfect peace and of sound mind, because you can think that your mind is going to go crazy because of the things that are about to happen, because of things that will go quickly. They will spiral. They are not going step by step. They are not going step by step or linear type wise. No, everything will go spiral. It will happen at the same time. That's what at some point he kept making us understand, that things don't need to, this doesn't have to happen and then after that the next step will happen. No, that is not what will happen. Everything might happen at the same time. That's why he was saying our minds need to be at peace, because we might think we are going crazy, everything happening at the same time. So I continue. Everything is happening at the same time at its allotted time. It's going to happen so fast. I have to keep you in perfect peace. You will be so busy. You forerunners will be so busy. You are going to be so busy. Can you imagine the busyness that you will be busy doing, being occupied with? You cannot even imagine. You cannot. And I cannot even tell you in advance because it will boggle your minds. It will boggle your mind. Once you're settled in your homes, it will boggle your minds, the swiftness and the quickness and the fastness. Things are going to happen. I can assure you these times of rest were well earned. They were well earned because you will be busy. You'll be so busy, but you will enjoy it. I can assure you, my children, that you will be enjoying it. So at this time, I can explain. There was some few years back, the Lord told us that, and also some people also were confirming to me. One or two confirmed to me, and I also listened to some people in the internet talking about God telling them to rest, that it was a season of rest. And for us, it's been like from 2018, it's been a time of rest because I was stopped from working, and my brother also was stopped from working, and God has just been keeping us at rest and just listening to Him and just and I know also some people who, especially for men, it's hard not to work, but I know there are some who've been out of work for more than 20 years, 30 years, and God has kept them at rest and not even when they try and work, something happens and it disrupts or stops the whatever they are doing, or they lose the money, the finances they put into whatever they were working in until they have learned to obey. So it's a serious thing because most people don't understand, and God doesn't have to explain to others what He is telling you. He doesn't have to explain to your family. Um, it's and even sometimes He doesn't even have to explain to you in advance what He's doing. You will find out later that this is actually God. He's the one who is uh, blocking me from this work. He's the one who is blocking me from getting these jobs. He's the one who is actually cocooning me so that people are not even seeing me when there are job opportunities. Vitu kama hizo. That means things like that in Swahili. So there are many ways God will stop people from working, especially the forerunners. If you're a forerunner, a lot of you or God has been doing that to you wherever you are, and He's been providing for you in one or another. Or maybe He just left you one stream of income, like we were, my brother and I, we were left one stream of income, and we were told to relinquish everything else. Um, if it's your inheritance from your parents or inheritance in one way or another, or your finances, God tells you let go of it and rely on me. So for us, He kept us with one stream of income, and it's not for us to go out. It was a property that was bringing in rental property that was bringing in finances. So He told us that's where you're going to eat from. That's where you're going to live for the time being, while I transition you to your permanent homes. So when the revival comes, that's when this happens. So that is a time of rest that I'm talking about, that he's talking about here. So let me continue. I told you before, I'll have to be reminding you that work for today is over. Go home. Go and enjoy your family. Do you know that you will have family even before you give birth to your children? Do you understand that? That was specifically to us because none of us have children, and God has told us time and again that He's giving us spouses and that He's giving us kids that we are going to adopt, adult kids as well as young kids, small children. So that's what He's meaning. So by the time we give birth, like for me and my brother's spouse, by the time they give birth to their own children, by the time I give birth to my own children, I'll have already been brought for children that I'll adopt, and grown children or young children, and it's like instant families. Or maybe Others, your spouses have children, and you have children, and when you're brought together, it will be like blended family already instant, and others that you'll be brought for. So that's what it means. So I continue. Do you understand that? So you're not starting off zero. You're starting off ready-made families. You're starting off with ready-made families, the ones you're going to adopt. So there's no time that you will be alone. Unfortunately, there's no time for you to have honeymoons. There's no time, there will be no time for honeymoons, but you will enjoy it. It will feel like you went for honeymoon 100 times. It will feel like you have been having this family for 100 years because of the love, because of the togetherness, because of the bond I'm giving you and I'm surrounding you always with. It will be for sorry, let me read that again. Because of the togetherness, because of the bond I'm giving you and I'm surrounding you always with. It will not be for nothing. So another explanation about the sudden, the not having any honeymoon. Um, for us three who are forerunners, the Lord told us that we have to get married before the revival happens. The main revival happens, the one that our bodies will be changed and powers will be poured on us like Pentecost. So that will have to find us already married and settled, because God had revealed to us that, and He has told us many times that He's not going to use anyone who in ministry who is not married, who has no marriage partner. You have to first have a marriage partner before He can use you. That's why He's a lot of remnants. This will be a time we'll see so many marriages happening, even as so many have been separated from their married partners right now, up to now, so many, especially in the Christian circle. Um, if you're a remnant, God has been separating a lot of people. Maybe you're one of them. Because you are married to the wrong person. You are connected to somebody who was not your soulmate. And in this new move of God, with the powers that we're having, powers that will be so much that you're able to kill somebody because we're carrying judgment, you cannot afford to have a partner who is not at par with your powers. So whatever powers you're being released for, you're going to be your spouse will be released for uh, powers of equal measure, so that you're compatible. That's why God has been separating a lot of people, because by His mercy He has to separate people. Otherwise, you would kill your partner that is not at par with you when the revival happens, when you release those powers. So it's all the mercies of God. He's not doing it with ill intents. No, He's doing it to realign everybody to their destiny. So that's why he's separating people, if you didn't know. That's one reason. So I continue. I'm not going to allow any spirit of conflict in those homes. You're, you're all human beings, yes, but my spirit will be involved. My spirit will be involved in your homes. There will be so much harmony. Grown ups and children, children and grown ups with grown ups, children with children. There will be so much harmony, and then you will begin to experience what it is to be in perfect peace. For those who are stayed on me, for those who are stayed on God, you will begin to realize that. You will begin to realize that. Full stop. So prepare your minds. I know you cannot be prepared enough, but prepare your minds. Another thing that I need to share about God bringing people together is together with their soulmates, is that because in this era He wants godly marriages. He wants our marriages as remnants to be examples to the whole world that marriages work, that godly marriages work. And then people will desire, those who are believers and non-believers, they'll desire to have marriages like ours all over the world. And so that's how the revival will manifest itself, with the love of God and perfect will of God for his remnants. So we will be able, some forerunners will be able to impart that kind of love, that kind of marriage on people, because he's bringing strangers together. Don't expect to know your spouse, or maybe even know who your spouse is, before you're brought together, especially for the forerunners, those who don't know their spouse. Some of them, God is just wants to shock you. He wants to bring you together with a stranger, because that's what he's going to do. A lot of marriages will be to strangers, even if it's somebody in your past. But this person, you really don't know each other. He won't give you time to get used to each other, or to court, or to go out for dates. And no, there'll be nothing like that, because it will be all God engineered. So he wants to receive all the glory, and for people even to desire what we have, to realize that dating is not the answer, but for God to speak who they are, and to connect them to their marriage partners, their soulmates. So that's what I wanted to explain. So let me continue and read, um, go back behind a bit. So prepare your minds. I know you cannot be prepared enough, but prepare your minds that once you're released, there's no rest anymore. There's no time to rest. You have already rested enough, and your bodies are ready. So he's talking about the release, the revival, and the release for the forerunners to get married before their time, before the revival happens. So your bodies are ready, and they will be equipped to do what you're supposed to. Your minds are at rest, but let me tell you, you'll be going at 100 kilometers per hour in your minds with the things that will be coming your way. You will not be able to think enough. There will be too much information coming your way, too many activities, too many thoughts, too much downloads. Too much downloads. That's why you need your bodies to be changed. Because with this body, you cannot do it. You cannot do all that you need to do. So at this time, I will explain. The remnants will have to be, their bodies have to be changed, because our body makeup cannot do the things that God wants to do in this new move of God, and this new end times end times season. So he has to change our bodies to be able to do the things that he wants us to. And I think I'll explain that in another video, about the revelations of what kind of bodies God is going to give us. We are still going to be human beings, although He's told us not to call ourselves human beings, we are peculiar beings. But we are still going to live with these bodies on this earth. But now our spirits will be more in charge. Right now, our bodies are more in charge of us. But now, in the coming revival remnants, your spirits will be more in charge. So you won't be affected by the things that are affecting this human body. The heat, cold, you won't need to wear a sweater. Your body temperatures will be regulated. You will be able to regulate your own body temperature. That's an example. You won't be killed easily. That's another example. And that one, I can give you an example of. There's this man who lived in the, I think, 1950s or 60s. He was called Simeon Toko. You can go and Google him. And he was, I don't know whether he was Congolese or he was born in Congo, but he has a connection with Angola, and Congo. And he was he had all these powers, and I believe he is one of the forerunners of the 144,000 um, that are going to that some of the remnants will be. And people tried to kill him. The Belgium government tried to kill him. The United Nations, the elite at that time that have been controlling the world tried to kill him so many times and they could not. They operated on him and removed his heart surgically. And then he woke up from that operating table and asked them to give him back his heart after they had removed it. So those are the stories that you will find about him. And one time they cut him up in pieces and uh, and put each piece, I think, in an acidic kind of formula and in barrels. And each barrel was taken to different parts of the world, and they thought they had destroyed him completely. And then I think it's a few days later, he magically, supernaturally, magic is not the right word. He supernaturally appeared to their offices, whoever these people are, and he was telling them, you thought you had succeeded, but you have not, but clearly you don't want me alive. So he was telling them, the information he gave them is that I'm about to go, I'm about to leave this earth, but in the future there's coming a generation of people who are like me, and you will not be able to kill us. You will not be able to kill all of us, even when you try. As I said, you will not be able to kill people because their body makeup will be different. Your spirits will be more in charge of your body than your body being in charge of your spirit like we are right now. So that's an example. Go and check him out. Simeon Kabangu Toko. He's from Congo. And for those who have never heard of him, I was quite shocked even when I heard about him. So listen to story about him. So I continue. That's why you need your bodies to be changed, because with this body you cannot do it. You cannot do all that you need to. And remember, you're doing things that, just a moment. Let me read that again. And remember, you're doing things that have never been done before. You're going to experience things that have never been done before. So you're going to be pioneers of things that have never been done, powers that have never been released before on this earth. You will be You'll be pioneers of so much, and that's why I needed those who are ready. Anyone who was not ready to obey, to listen. And then here he was speaking in Swahili. So I'll speak in Swahili and then I'll translate. Sikukuwa nampembeleza mtu. Kweli nimebembeleza mtu nini? Nimebembeleza mtu. Mimi sijabembeleza mtu. Si I'm even having difficulty reading what I've written. Si mumekutana na watu wameachwa. So what he was basically saying is that he has not, what is the word kubembeleza? He has not mollycoddled anybody. I don't know the particular word, but he has not been soft with anybody. He has guided people as he wants. If it's tough, like Joseph, I told you, Joseph generation, it's tough. He doesn't need to explain to you in advance some things. He just does it, and then probably he'll explain it later, much later even, after you've gone through so much heartache and so much pain and persecution from people and name calling, so much that has happened to the remnants. So he doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to be soft with anybody. And he was in the last sentence, he was saying, so you have seen that I have even overlooked some people because they have need themselves. They have delayed themselves. So he continues now in English. Haven't you seen people who have delayed themselves? There was no time to kubembeleza. Now he used that word of bembeleza that I'm not even sure of the direct translation. But it's just to mollycoddle. He was not soft with anybody. There was no time to do that with anybody. Those ones were overtaken by others, and that is what will cause them to come in shame, because it's not a matter of you, it's a matter of me. It's my glory to glorify myself. That's what it meant. Everything he's doing, he's glorifying himself, and how he's preparing everybody, it's for his glory, not for you. So he doesn't need to explain himself. So let me continue. I digressed there again. All that I'm using have to die to self. You have to realize there are bigger things than you, bigger things than what you think, than bigger than your life, bigger things than what you think is important. Yes, you understand that. Prepare yourselves. Kenya will be flooded by people. It will be flooded by people. It will be flooded by people that I'm bringing back home. My children. And when he says back home, okay, some people are still saying Israel, people are being taken back to Israel. I don't know. But what he has been telling us is that he's bringing people, his people Israel, to Africa, because he calls it back home. So I don't have any more information of what other people have been revealed about Israel up there. I have no idea. But what he has explained to us, that there are some lands that will be left empty. There are some lands that he's, like now Israel, he's removing that fake Israel out of there through war. They'll even fight among themselves, apparently, not just the Arabs fighting them or them fighting the Arabs. No, the Arabs will gang up against them, and also they will fight among themselves. And then God will wipe them out, remove them out. Whoever is left will be removed from that land. So I don't know what he's preparing about that land. If it's the true Israel land, then he said there are some places he said that he will migrate some people to settle there, lands that are empty, so that wild animals do not flood in those places. So maybe that's the Israel. But for us, he told us he's bringing people back home, and back home it means Kenya, because he says that Kenya is a spiritual Jerusalem, will where the spiritual Jerusalem will be. Okay. So I continue. My children are coming home, back home. My children are coming back. I'm transporting my people home. My people, millions and millions, wherever they are globally, I'm transporting them back home. I'm going to zero them back home. They will be zeroed into Kenya, into Africa, because I know where everybody needs to go, and they will never leave. They'll never leave, and they will never ever disobey me again. No more exile, no more. No more slavery, no more. No more leaving their God, no more. No more, no more. No more wickedness, no more. No more wickedness. I am going to give them a heart for me. I am going to fill them with a desire to know me. I am going to teach them. Even little children will put you to shame. Even little children. That means 3-year-old, 5-year-olds, provided they can speak, they will put so many people, and especially adults, to shame because of the wisdom of God being pouring from them. especially of the wisdom of God pouring from them, and they will lead so many to seek God for themselves. Wisdom of God poured on babes. And then he continued, just prepare yourselves to begin work. Stop asking so many questions. Stop asking so many questions. There are some things you will know ahead. Stop asking so many unnecessary questions. You don't need to know where the finances are coming from. I've just given you an idea of where the wealth is coming from. Just an idea, a rough idea, but that is wealth coming from the future, in the future. Right now, I have wealth that you don't even know where it is. And then here he was very loud and very stern. He was saying, what you know is nothing. What you know is nothing. The accounts I have revealed to you of monies, you know, whatever accounts there is nothing. The accounts you know are nothing. So you better settle your mind that you don't know anything. I have very many sources. He goes back to his normal voice. I have very many sources of wealth. Where do you think the wealth is that is coming to construct all these altars? So, by altars, he is revealing that he had revealed to us that there are 5 main altars in Kenya. There's a main altar, one main altar, and then 4 others under that main altar. And I know 2 of them, and the 3 others we don't know where they are, because the Lord says we don't need to know everything. As I told you, everybody will know what they need to know to operate in the portion of work in ministry he needs them to operate right now. So both of these altars that we know are located in the Eastern Corridor, because he has revealed to us before that revival in Kenya is coming from the Eastern Corridor. And at some point, I had a vision and I saw a lot of angels, a lot of activity coming from the Eastern Corridor. And the angels were coming even from the coast. The coast of Kenya is on the eastern side. So these altars, I believe all 5 of them probably are in the Eastern Corridor. And the Eastern Corridor that he was talking to us about is made up of Ukambani, is made up of where the Kambas predominantly live. I'm talking about the areas of Embu, the areas of Meru, the area of Isiolo, even northern Kenya, the Muslim area. He has a lot of the hidden church there, and they are going to be revealed. And these are the people who will bring shame to the present Christians because of the zeal that they'll have for God. They are already dead, because already when they get born again, there's a threat of death, even from their family. In the Muslim world, once you get saved, there's a threat of death even from your family. Apparently they are allowed to kill you, because no one can leave Islam, or I think it's called Islam. Nobody can leave the Islam religion to Christianity or to another. You can't. So they are already dead, because every day they live, after they get born again, they live knowing they are dead people. So nothing will shake them. When the Lord releases them from their hiding, they will have so much zeal and they will do so many. And in fact, these are the people who will be endowed with signs and wonders and so much miracles. They will do so much. So I continue. Where do you think it's coming from? Let me go back again. I have very many sources of wealth. Where do you think the wealth is that is coming to construct these altars? Where do you think it's coming from? It's not coming from one place. I have very many resources. I have very many people that you don't know about, but my plans will be accomplished. I'm not just one, it's not just one source. And here he was shouting also, it's not just one source. That is just one that you know of. He's talking about the one that he's revealed, or source of. There's an account that we know about that is so full of so much that was given to somebody that we know, and it's for Kenya. So he says it's not just one that you know of. That is just one that is just one that you know of, and he had, in fact, I'll reveal this in the rest of in the remaining part of the revelation about accounts and wealth transfer that is coming to remnants. I told you that this wealth is unlimited. The constructions will be constructed with unlimited wealth. I'm not going to do shoddy work. And all these construction workers will be paid. Some of them will be lifted through the work that they are doing, that they are going to do, that they have already done. People you don't even know, you have no idea where they started off from, but it's my plans. There are some things I don't want to tell you in advance because I want to glorify myself when it happens. I want to glorify my name when it happens. And if it means me shocking you and surprising you, that's how I want to glorify myself. You don't need to know it. Suddenlies, suddenlies. That's how I will shake you. I will shock you. Suddenlies are happening. And when they happen, it will be one after another after another. At the same time, something else is happening, something else is happening. Because what I have revealed to you, it's so little of the things I'm doing, of the things I'm about to do. It's so little, so little. It's so little, it's so little. You have to settle that in your mind that you don't know that what I reveal is just a small thing. So for us in Kenya, when you say a small thing, it's you just minimize the thing that is being talked about. So it literally means what I reveal is just a small thing. That's what it means. A very small thing. That's what it means. Just desire to be shocked. Desire, just desire. Desire to be shocked and be at peace. Just desire to be shocked. Desire for the Lord to receive His glory. Desire for me to glorify myself in what I do in a way that I want it to happen. I allowed you to meet some people that are part of my workforce. A lot of them you don't know. You have no idea who they are. These are just one or two or three. And I'll read that again. These are just one or two or three that you have met, but you don't know where the rest are. You have no idea. I was just giving you a taste of the kind of people that I'm using. People that their own people that of their own they cannot reach those positions, so that I can glorify myself in their lives, so that everybody will give God the glory, will say only God can do this, only God can do this, it's only God who is able to use this, it's only God who can use these people, only God, on Him to glorify Himself. That's what people will be saying. So there are people we have been led to or have been led to us to meet, and God, every time He reveals this is a remnant, this is some, or He reveals who they are in connection to our lives or our future, who they are going to be in connection to the work that remnants will be involved in ministries. So we have met quite a few people where we are. And God is hiding a lot of people. Some of them, they didn't even know, they had no idea there were remnants, because not all remnants are believers, not all remnants are Christians. There are so many of them who are not even saved, who are not even in church. Some are Muslims, some are atheists. They are not all remnants. And when I say remnants, I know there are two classes of remnants. I'm talking about remnants of the Christian faith. There are some people who are believers, they didn't know there were remnants, or they didn't even know there was anything about remnants. And there is also a group of remnants who are of the Israelites family. The ones that are called in the book of Revelation is calling 144,000. Those are also remnants, because this is a group of people that has been taken out of a bigger group of people so that they can be started off in this revival. And not all of them are going to start at the same time. There will be remnants that will start off, a very small group of remnants that will be like the way the disciples started off. There were a small group of people. There were 120 that were at Pentecost, that the power of God, or rather the Holy Spirit, came and baptized them. So God starts off with a small group of people, and then they keep increasing. So this small group of people that starts, they start like apostles, because now they have to be used to plow the virgin land. Whatever ministry that they're going to do, it will be in virgin land, because the powers they're having have never been seen before. And so they have to plow the places where they are going, and make way for the rest that are coming behind them. So they will take a lot of heat, they will take a lot of persecution, because these are just a few people. And before now, others who are coming behind them are in the limelight, or they are visible to other people, they are being heard or seen. They'll have taken a lot of mudslinging, a lot of persecution will come their way for the sake of those who are coming behind. So it's not a pretty picture to be a forerunner. You will, but it won't disturb us, because we'll be so busy working, we'll be so busy doing things, ministries that God has prepared for us, that it won't touch us what people are saying in the media, what people are talking about us. And these people, by the way, God says He is going to humble so many people who have persecuted His remnants, who have mudslung, who had thrown mud at you, who have called you names, who have abused you in one way or another, or even denied anything to you. For those who have denied help to you, things like that. So many people will be ashamed by God, because they will be forced to come to you and ask for forgiveness. God says in these times, in this season, He's not forgiving anybody who just asks for forgiveness from Him once they realize what they have done wrong. No, they have to. Whoever you have hurt, whoever you have lied about, whoever you have spoken about wrongly, whoever you have denied anything, whatever it is that you have done against somebody, you have to, God uh, will drive so many people to seek for forgiveness from these people. Otherwise, He will say He's not going to forgive anybody unless the action, they go back and ask for forgiveness. Just like Joseph's brothers did. They had to come to him to receive forgiveness, and then he could bless them. So God says, these people that I have allowed them to do all these things in your life, because they will be driven to seek you for forgiveness, wherever you will be, and whoever you will be at that time. They'll have, and don't be shocked, a lot of people will have to kneel down before you and ask for forgiveness. And it's not you who will tell them to kneel down, it's God who will command their knees to kneel down before you and ask for forgiveness. Otherwise, they will not be forgiven. Because why? Because these people, will be driven to seek for forgiveness from you, just like Joseph's brothers in the Bible. You will be used to settle them, you will be used to bless them afresh. Because everybody who is going to be used of God has to die to self, has to be brought to nothing. So these people that will be coming to you will have been brought to nothing, or when they come to you, they will be told, like now the foreigners, the Israelites that are coming, they'll have to empty their coffers before you, before the altar that God will direct them to go to. So many people will lose everything. So you will have to start them afresh in the move of God, because God cannot pour something on top of what you have. He has to start you from zero. Okay, so that's an explanation of that. So I continue. So prepare yourself. Kenya will change overnight. Population will change overnight. Population will increase drastically overnight. As planes, as ships, as land transportation is bringing people. Highways in the desert, highways in the sea, highways in the air, highways everywhere bringing people and the wealth that they have plundered. Highways full of people, and so many of them will be followed by the media trying to record all this. They don't understand what is happening. They won't understand what is happening, because even the people themselves don't even know, or will not know, what is driving them out from the nations, from the islands, from land and sea. They don't know what is driving them out. But I am ready, and my servant angels are ready. Be everything that is everything is positioned. Everything is positioned. It doesn't matter where these people are. I told you I'm releasing prisoners. I told you I'm releasing people from mad houses. I told you I'm releasing, and madhouse, we have one called Madare, and I don't know the other places, but in Kenya, and a lot of people have been hidden in these places by God, who are His remnants, and even prisoners. Some prisoners who even committed the crime, and some who were put in prison and they did not do the crime. Some of them even were given death sentences and they think they'll die in jail. God had revealed to us that a lot of these people will be released, and they'll be so shocked, because they'll be released and they'll be given wealth, they'll be given everything to start off. And of course, this revival will release so much power on them, so it will shock so many people that knew that they were going to die in jail. They are waiting, actually. They have a death sentence. They are waiting. In some countries, they are waiting to die, to be killed by the legal system. So a lot of these people have been hidden in different ways. I know we know so many remnants around us where we are that are in bars. They have been hidden in. God just hides you in the sin that you are living in. He's not the one who is causing you to sin, but He's hiding you even in the sin that you are living in, that you're operating in. So a lot of people are in bars. We've met so many prostitutes. We've met so even their pimps. We've met so many people who are who are who are cannot even go to church, who are not even able to stand in righteousness. And some people who have been chased away from churches, or God has chased them away in one way or another. Maybe the pastors have fought them or whatever. But a lot of remnants have been hidden in different places, and God keeps telling us we'll be so shocked who remnants are when they are brought out. So let me go back a bit. I told you I'm releasing prisoners. I told you I'm releasing people from mad houses. I told you I'm releasing everyone who has been jailed, who has been put away. Even hospitals where my people are will be emptied. They have to get well in order to go. Do you understand that? Anyone who is sick has to be well, has to be healed miraculously in order for them to start that journey. In the Bible, I think it's in Exodus. It talks about how the Israelites were healed. No one left Egypt sick. I don't know whether it mentions also that the crippled were healed, but a lot of miracles happened before the Exodus. So that's what he's saying. He's doing those miracles even before people leave, so that they can make the journey without any problem, any stress or delay. So that even the cripples cannot say that they were delayed, or they delayed themselves because they could not walk as fast, or they could not manage as fast as those who are not crippled. So that's what he means. Do you understand the kind of miracles that are about to happen? There are people who are disabled that will happen to. Do you know there are people who are disabled? What will happen to them? What will happen to people in homes, especially in home old people's homes, if they are still, if there are remnants who are still alive who are of that particular age, because God says that a lot of generation has been older generation has been judged, and most of them, many of them, are going to die. They're not going to make it into for they'll be left, or rather they'll die, and those who are left right now are left for, because God is having mercy on their families, so He's keeping them for quite a while. So there's a generation of older generation that is judged, and they are still living. God calls them living dead, and he told us that like about I think around 2020 or 2021, that there are so many who are being called living dead because they have already been judged while they are alive, and nobody can pray for them. You can't pray them out of that. They're just waiting to go where they have been judged to go, either to go to heaven, and many of them to go to hell. So I continue. What will happen to people in homes, in children's homes? Yes, you're going to translocate them, but you won't be able to do the whole world. You're just one, you're just two forerunners, you're just three. I have other means of removing these people. That's why some of you are going to own buildings like hotels. That's why some homes you will own will have such big room. They have such big room. It's like a big hall. I will put my people to work to partition for the influx that is coming. I told you I need acreage. I told you that. I told you I needed acreage of these warehouses, these factories. I told you I need acreage in some places. There's land that will be constructed afresh. You thought it was just houses that are already constructed. No, there's some land that is empty that will be constructed and constructed and constructed, not just the altars that are going to be constructed. So expand your thinking, expand your thinking, expand your thinking. There will be so many things happening, so many things happening. You and your spouses. So he was talking to the three of us, and he's also, when he's talking to the three of us, he's also talking about talking to the remnants, especially the forerunners. You and your wife and your spouses have to be ready. Because, yes, you have to be ready. Because your lives have changed. Your life is no more. It's not like you know it. It has changed. But you will not be overwhelmed. I keep telling you, I'm going to counter that overwhelming factor in your life. You will not be overwhelmed. You will reach a place where you are receiving everything as it comes, and you won't be overwhelmed. You'll just be giving God the glory, glory, glory. And he kept saying glory, glory. And then at the end, it's like a big shout, the glory. And then he continues in a more voice. And my word is mine to give, my word is mine to do, and my word is mine alone to action. I don't need your help. I don't need any of your help to do it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing that can bring this word to pass. For only me, it's only me. For questions that you have just settled them in your minds, things will happen. So when you were saying there's nothing we can do, there's a time some few years back he had told us only prayers I want from you is not to intercede, because right now there's there are so many things you don't know you might be interceding for. Kumbe, mhm, sorry for Swahili. There are so many things that you might be interceding for that you will be interceding against the will of God. Don't, he told us, don't pray for anybody unless I specifically tell you to. Don't pray specifically, especially if anybody is sick or dying or in a bad place, maybe financially, because you don't know whether this is judgment from me or not. So a lot of people are experiencing judgment in many ways. People are against you. And the problem with Christians is we think anything negative happening to you is demonic. No, God has shown us time and time again that a lot of things are happening to the church and Christians. So there are many things because of his hand on you, because of his hand on remnants, because of his hands. He's directing people in many ways. And also, God um, has been referring us to that word so much of that the that Jesus said that he did not come to bring peace, but he came with a sword to separate a mother and her daughter and a father and his son. So there are so many separations, and there will happen upheavals, and people will fight you because they are being separated from you. And as God revealed to us, that sword is not sweet. It's not a sweet tasting thing. And a lot of people, through the pain of separation, will attack you. A lot of people, through that pain of being cut off from you, or you being separated from them in one way or another, will hit at you, will be violent. And in the reaction of that sword will be so much, so many different ways. So if you don't understand why there's so much persecution against you, then it's now you understand it's a sword of the Lord that is separating, that pain of the sword is causing people to react in different ways against you. So I continue. For questions that you have, just settle them in your mind. Things will happen. In fact, you'll be saying it would be good to have rested more. That's what you'll be saying, because of the things that you will just all of a sudden become, because the things that will just all of a sudden become so much, and this you didn't take, and then you and those who didn't take advantage and rest during this period will be saying like, oh, I wish I knew. So life as you know it is no more. As I keep telling you, life as you know it is no more. Do you know that some of you will walk out of your homes without goodbyes? You're not going to say any goodbyes to anybody. And those who will need to be in your future, you will meet them in your future. Do you understand? Okay? You will not be asking anybody for permission. You won't even have time to ask or tell anybody that you are leaving. That is some people, not all of us. Um, Maybe the Israelites that are leaving, that are being caused to leave, or even remnants in wherever you are. The Lord is going to reposition people and take people away from home, especially before the revival, so that you can be poured the powers of God and your body is changed in a different location. I don't know where that is. I don't know if it will be crowded in one place. like the disciples during the time of Pentecost in the upper room. I have no idea, but I know God is going to remove people before the outpouring happens and take them somewhere else. The Lord will not give you any excuse, even to wave to anybody. Some will see you go, some will see you go, because He has to glorify Himself from the word go. So, how you go, you will see how you go. Some of them, they will see you go. They will see you exit. Some of them will see you exit from where you are. But your mind and your eyes will be so busy thinking, will be so busy into your future that I will not give you permission to say bye to people. I will not give you permission. I, your God, will not give you permission to say bye to anybody. Did you know that? It will happen the way I want it. It will happen the way I want it. Some of you will not have a choice how you go. You won't have a choice how you go, how you live your places. You won't have a choice. Seriously, you have no choice how you go, the way you go. Whether you want time or not, whether you're thinking you will say bye to your family, to your people. It doesn't matter. You will go the way I want you to go. That is the best way. Leave it to God. You cannot dictate anything to God. How and when. You cannot dictate it because I want to glorify myself from the word go. I have been glorifying myself already in your life. So why should I stop? Why should I give you the permission to do whatever you want? I have not been I have not been giving you permission. I have been doing all the controlling. I have been doing all the directing. So why should I stop? Why, my children? Why? Just because you want to say bye to some people, it doesn't make sense. You will see them in the future if you need to. And for those you will not see, you will not see them. So if you need to say bye now. Say bye now. And he really shouted that. And allow me to do things the way I want. And no more questions. No more questions. Be at peace. No more questions of how, of when. No. That is not your responsibility. I have rested you from all those things, all these things for now. That is nothing for you. Just allow peace. Allow me. Allow God. So we were revealed for some things about our lives, but God told me to read it. So he says, do you know the number of children you will have? So I began to be told about specific numbers for um, the lady who called my ministry partner. And she was being told, I'm explaining this to her what the Lord was explaining to me. I'm seeing the figure 30 and more will be increasing over the years. Um, you see now, for you to have such a big number, the Lord is entrusting and trusting you with His children, for He's going to make sure you handle it. That's what I was telling her as the Lord was revealing what He was showing me. And so she received that, and then he continues with the rest of us. um, the figure you should think about, that is one the other, my brother, the figure you should think about is 50 and above. 50 children and above. You're not of a caliber to have less than that. You're not of a caliber. I started you off from before. You're not of a caliber. So my brother has loved children all his lives and loved women, not in a bad way, not in a sexual. No, no, no. He's just attracted to women, and they're attracted to him in such an unbelievable way. Wherever he is, you will just hear women around him, and children. especially children, they're so attracted to him that whether they are strangers, they'll come rushing to him. And he used to wonder what that was about. And after some few months and years ago, God revealed to him, that's a mantle, that's an anointing I have put on you because of the ministry. You'll be caring for women and you'll be caring a lot for children. So some people, I don't know whether others who are having such kind of such kind of attraction for an opposite sex or a group of children or whatever, but God has poured such anointing on some remnants. So I started you off before. You're not over caliber to have less than 40 at all times. So he was explaining the kind of families will have, the children that will be adopting a lot of children, and not all of them are coming at the same time. So he's been told you should not think of less than 40 at the same time. Think of that. Think of that. And I'm going to be adding on you once in a while, more and more, because a lot of them that are grown up, after some time, they'll be released because now remnants will begin to increase. And once they are released, even if they have been adopted by you, they'll still be your children. But now work will be dispersed through them to different places because now you'll begin to increase as remnants. They'll be able to do more work where I'll send them, but they'll still be your children. You will still be meeting with them and enjoying each other as families. Some houses will have to be built upwards, some houses will have to be built upwards. I have the architectural plans, beautiful architectural plans, and these will be homes. But the reality is you will be such big families, but you'll have to be realistic. You will need more homes, more buildings, and some places will be constructed as you stay in other places. Once a home is finished, you will move and you will allow more construction to happen in those other places. I told you you will have so many homes, so many homes. Most of you will have so many homes, especially the for runners. They will have they all have to be constructed to specification. You understand? And you'll be able to have specific extracurricular um, grounds in specific places or specific homes. No home will have the same thing, but every home will have some things because you will not be staying in one place for very long. And here the Lord had revealed to us some foreigners will be moved around in places. They'll have several homes because of security issues, because no government will, as all of us know, people have been can be abducted and held hostage, so that the powers that be uh, will try and find out these powers that you're working with, how are they, how can they harness these powers for themselves. So they might try and abduct a lot of people so that they can do investigations on them, they can take them to the labs to do a lot of experiments on them. So the Lord told us that for security reasons, there are some forerunners that will be moved from place to place according to the security. And at some point, it will be so easy because he will just translocate everybody, the whole family. He'll just translocate everybody if for security reasons, the time that is needed. So there won't be any need for ground translocation or air translocation. It will just be an instantaneous thing. So I continue. You will be able to note when you need to move. Do you understand the kind of moving you'll be doing? Why would you need to move on land? Why would you need to move on air if you can spiritually move? Now, do you understand how people will be moving quickly? There is no time. There's some time it will, sorry, there is some time it will have to be supernatural translocation. And God had told us this supernatural translocation among the remnants will be common at some point, that people will accept it. So if you'll be doing it in your ministry, why not do it in your homes when you will need to move? That is the best sure way that whoever is trying to track you will not find out where you are. They'll have to do serious homework to find out where you are. This is some more information, but it shouldn't be a surprise to any of you, because I've touched on it before. I've touched on things like this. If you need your cars moved, not all will be moved, because you will find others ahead. But when you need some specific ones moved, they'll be moved together, or they can be brought later wherever you are. But it doesn't matter depending on the security. But I told you, every home will be duplicated specific things. So you won't start afresh. That means clothes. You will find clothes wherever you are. You will find clothes there. You won't need to move with luggage because I'm inconveniencing you by moving. You will find whatever you need ahead. So there are some things that you don't even need to worry how it will happen. How will the transportation happen? We have children. How will it happen? They'll move. And he continues, they'll move. They'll be moved. In fact, it will be such an exciting time for everybody. It will be such an exciting time because they'll experience something others have not experienced. So there are some things that you don't need to think about because it will happen in the future. It will happen in the future. But some construction has to go on, has to go upwards for your homes. Some of these have to be constructed upwards because you'll need all the land for your children, for your different homes, for your workers. You will need, because you will be a community. And here the Lord had made us understand that our homes will be like, we'll be living in a community kind of setting, like a koinonia. Um, that's a that's that word is coined from the Greek language, koinonia, a community setting. So that's how it will be because our workers, whatever workers you have, domestic workers and everybody, will have to be housed in the same compound for security reasons. And they will come also with their families, or they will find families there. And those who are single will be given husbands or wives while they are working with you. So they will end up being part of your family. And God says that every worker that you have will be treated like a family member. So nobody will be treated like a servant or just a worker. No, everybody will be a family, whether they are working for you, whether they are being paid a salary or not. So I continue. But that's my responsibility, not yours. The kind of homes, the kind of compounds I give you, that's my responsibility, and I will know how to handle it. There will be people who are permanently employed for construction among the remnants, where they'll need construction, where there's a need for expansion or revolution, whatever needs. And this revolution is talking about the maybe different seasons that something is needed, some different construction is needed when when people need to be moved from one place or one housing to another. So these are permanent constructors that will be needed among the remnants. Whatever need, they'll be permanently employed for that kind of job, and wherever they are needed, they will be dispersed quickly, very quickly. As I keep saying, finances will be unlimited. What I expect is just trust and faith as you wait for me, as you wait for this to start. That is all that is required, because I can surely tell you, you will not be expecting it. When it happens, you won't be expecting it. So this thus says the Lord all this, and that's where he ended. The Lord God Almighty um, has said it. Amen. So thank you so much for listening up to this time. I know it's close to almost an hour and 3 quarters, but I thank you for listening, and I hope you are encouraged. If or for whatever you didn't know before, it's a fresh revelation, and for some people, it's probably confirmation or a reconfirmation what God has told you. Sometimes it's good to receive these confirmations, and for you to know that this is happening to a lot of remnants, so that you don't feel like you're an island, that these things are happening to you only. No, a lot of these things are happening to a lot of remnants, and more so to the forerunners. A lot of things have happened to a lot of us. And so be encouraged that you're not the only ones, and that life as you know it is no more. So thank you for listening up to this point, and I hope you will join me in the next videos that are coming. I'll be revealing whatever videos God wants me to reveal, and I hope that you'll be blessed. Please share and subscribe so that more people will be able to hear. The right people God will bring to this channel, and these posts and these videos will be able to receive them and be blessed. Thank you so much.